Hey YouTube. This video I want to give a proper introduction, right? Because I feel like you guys don't know me. Obviously I know my story, but I feel like y'all don't know me as a person, right? So first off, my name is Melik. I am 20 years old. I live in Florida, and most of y'all know this, but I am a Christian. All right, so we're gonna end it off there. But to get into this video, I wanted to talk about self-identity and self-worth. This is something that I struggled with for so long, ever since I was a kid. So this is something that I wanted to talk about and, let y'all know my story and how I overcame it. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna start when I was 8. At the age of 8, that's when I first became embarrassed, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Growing up, as a kid, I was always, bold and just outgoing, right? And I was so competitive. Like when I say I was competitive, man, I hated losing, right? And everything that I did, like I would try my best to win. I would try so hard to win because I hated losing. But yeah, just to keep it short, at the age of 8, that was the first time I felt embarrassed, right? Because, something happened, right? I took a L, and this is what I want to point out. First off, when I took that L, I may have overreacted, but that's normal for a kid. I'm a child, bro. Come on, I'm a child, and when I took that L, I did what a child would do. I got mad because yes, I'm competitive and I hate losing. So obviously I'm gonna get mad, and that's what I did. I got mad, and I started. I think I cried, or no, I didn't cry, but I did have tears coming out my eyes, right? And I was just so mad and like frustrated that I took that L. And excuse me, during that time, like when I was crying and I was mad that I took that L, I got made fun of for it. Right? That's where my self-identity, that's where my self-worth was attacked. Right? Because when I got made fun of for reacting, reacting, I was literally reacting as a child, right? But I got made fun of for that. And when I did, that was the first time I felt embarrassed. And ever since then, I would try so hard to kind of just like, bury how I truly feel. I would try to bury like my true self, right? So if I felt uncomfortable, I would just have to, deal with it just so I don't get made fun of, right? And this was people that I knew, people that I grew up with, right? I'm not gonna say any names. But this was people that I knew, people that I grew up with, and it's like, bro, ever since then, I would try so hard to gain their approval, right? I would try so hard to gain their approval, but it felt like everything that I did, I just couldn't seem to win, bro. Until at one point in my life, and I didn't even know I was doing this, but subconsciously I would create different personalities just so I can gain certain people's approval, because I had different. Look, I looked up. I'm gonna say, my brother. I looked up to him, right? And I also looked up to my dad. I also looked up to my older sister. I looked up to just a whole bunch of different people, right? And so I would create different personalities to match what they're, because if I dare say something stupid or make a mistake, they would make fun of me so freaking hard, bro. They would smoke me. And ever since then, like I would try so hard to not, mess up. Right? And I'm becoming so self-conscious, right? I'm becoming, or is that how you say it? Conscious? I think that's how you say it, but I'm just becoming so self-aware. And it's like I'm thinking about, like, I'm over analyzing, like, yo, did I say this too loud? And bro, I'm a kid, bro. I'm only 8 years old, 9 years old, 10. And it went on like that for so long, bro, so long. And I grew up like that. I grew up with these personalities. It wasn't until I was 14, 15 that I finally cracked, and I finally I got broken, because I was being bullied. And it felt like I just lost, like, that battle that I was having, that mental battle that I was having, that I can't get them to make fun of me. I can't get them to, because if I do this, then I'm gonna lose, right? Because obviously I hated losing, right? And so I would try so hard to win. I would try so hard to win their approval, and it felt like if I didn't, then I lost. I lost that life, and that was my life. That was my life's purpose, right? So I was living for them, and right, and it sent me in a spiral, and my mind was just in so many different places, right? And so when I got bullied and became depressed, it felt like I lost. It felt like and so the personalities that I created, it's like they just couldn't work anymore. It's like they broke down, like that wall that I built. It all came crashing down, right? And I just didn't know who I was right after that, right? And bro, when that happens to you, you have to search so deep into your soul to finally find your true self. Because if you don't do that, you'll never be yourself again, right? You can't come back from that, because you spend years practicing this mindset that you have to gain everyone's approval, right? Everyone that you love, you have to gain their approval, and you have to work for them, right? And that's kind of like abuse, bro. That's like narcissistic abuse, in case someone didn't know. But and that's bad, right? If you're trying to gain somebody's approval, then it's best that you stay away from that person, right? And so during that time, I was trying to search myself, and it wasn't until now that I finally found myself again, and I finally I'm starting to recover, and I'm starting to heal again, right? But before that, at 15, I was so depressed and I was so anxious, because I just couldn't talk anymore. I couldn't talk, and I was just socially awkward. And bro, so many things were wrong, and my mind was just so dark, so dark. I had so much hate, so much just negativity going on, right? And that's from years. That's built up from years of abuse and all this insecurity and trying to gain people's approval, right? It came from that, right? But at 17, obviously I told you guys this already. At 17, I found Christ, and I started serving Christ, and He's been working on me ever since, right? He's been working on me ever since. 3 years. I'm 20. I'm about to turn 21. So basically 4 years. And, I'm finally finding myself. And I'm so glad. I'm so happy. But, yeah, that's my story, right? Here's the pump. I'm looking crazy. That's my back. Sheesh. But, yeah, here's a verse, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.